Yes.
Can you tell me about sex?
You know what? Sit down, son. I'll talk to you about sex. I have to do a project for my sexual education class. It's called human sexuality. And you're at the age where sex is a topic that is discussed. So I'm going to use you as my guinea pig. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. So the first thing we need to understand about human sexuality is what it is. Basically, it is sex and how people respond to it. So I'm going to give you a little presentation. Ask me any questions. If you don't understand something, tell me. So that way when I present it, they'll have like a 100% rating for me, okay?
Okay.
All right. So let's talk about the complexity of this all. So let's talk about human sexuality in itself. I wrote down some notes, okay? So human sexuality is the way people experience and express themselves in a sexual way towards another person, okay? This includes feelings, your physical, your emotional, your behaviors, okay? Where you from and what you believe in is like your culture, like how I'm raising you is kind of how it's determined how you will look towards sex. I raise you to not have sex until you're married, to come to me first, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yeah.
All right, good. So, as you get older, you're going to start becoming more interested in girls, and you're going to come to who first?
Yeah.
Exactly. Good job. All right. So there's people that study sex. They're called a sexologist. Like a biologist studies biology, a scientist studies science stuff. This person's called a sexologist. So here's a picture of a lady. She's a sexologist. Can you imagine getting paid to talk about sex? We got your own job, right? So, do you understand the parts of your body?
Mm-hmm.
No? All right, so let's talk about it. So, we're going to do the guy and the girl. We'll do you first because this is what you see every day, okay? So, this is the male anatomy, if you want to hold it so you can look at it. So, let's talk about some parts of it. Come over here. So, what you normally see is what we call, this part is called the penis. Okay, I taught you the wee way, but it's the penis. So, you have the anus, which is here. That is what you call the butt, and that's where you defecate, or you poop, okay? And then you have the bladder, which is here. That's where your urine, where all the pee is hold, and it's the whole process that comes out. And then you have something called an epididymis, and let's see if I can show it to you right here. This like long tube here. You see how it's like real long and tubular? So that part, it's near the testicle, and you have a fluid inside you called sperm. You know what sperm is? Okay, so sperm is what makes babies. Keep it away from all girls.
Okay.
So then I told you about the penis. That is the external sex organ. Okay? And we're going to talk about what that does during sex. And sometimes, okay, so when you're born, over top of the hole of this penis, like over top of this part, you have a foreskin. If you get it taken off, which you have yours taken off, it's called circumcision. If you don't, it's called being uncircumcised. It is healthy and it is a good thing to get it taken off because you don't want to increase your chances of infection, okay? And then you have the prostate gland. And inside of there, you have the sex gland, and it also helps make urine for you, okay? And then you have your scrotum, which is here, which is the thing underneath your penis. It holds the testicles, and one is called a testy, and that's the ball in there. And that helps protect the testicles, and it also makes sperm. So the sperm is inside of there, and the sperm is a little protein that helps make babies, and it travels through this little tube here called the vas deferens, and it goes all the way around, and it is expelled through the penis. Okay?
Okay.
You got any questions?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now let's look at the female. This is the first time you're going to see a woman.
Okay.
The next time you'll be married. So, a big giant ram head. That's what it looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with the female, we have a lot going on with our body, but this is like the basics of it. So we have the endometrium, which is this like lining right here. This is the thing that lines the uterus. So do you know what a uterus does? You know what it is? So that's where you lived at for 9 months. That's where babies are held at, inside of there. That's the uterus. So when a woman has a baby, we house you in there for 9 months before you're coming out. Okay? So these here are the ovaries, these white parts. We have them. That's where the eggs are stored at. The egg is where the baby comes from. So the egg from a woman and the sperm from a man combined together, that makes the baby through the process called sex or sexual intercourse. These tubes that are attached to it are called fallopian tubes. Every month, one egg is expelled and it travels through fallopian tubes and it attaches into the uterus. If a woman is pregnant, it'll stay in there. If she does not become pregnant, it'll be expelled through what we call a period or a menstrual cycle, where she bleeds for 7 to 10 days. I know you know that part, right? Got you. All right. So down here we have the cervix, which is the opening to the uterus, and it is when a woman is having a baby. That's the part that has to thin out and open up. Once it's all the way thinned out and opened all the way up, baby's ready to come out. I know, right? And then, of course, that's the vagina. That is the part that the penis is inserted to when you have sex. Okay. I know. You can laugh. It's okay. So, you know, the baby comes out of there, or you have a C-section. You came out through a C-section. Got any questions? Sure? All right. So, it was these people back in the day before I was born, too. His name was William H. Masters, and then her name was Virginia E. Johnson. So they basically studied how people reacted to sex, because, you know, a long time ago, people didn't really talk about sex and what goes on with sex. So they pretty much like stood up against the grain, and they decided, like, we're gonna put some light to the topic. And they studied people, they studied sex, they studied how people reacted to sex, and they came up with different stages. And believe it or not, they actually did the experiment themselves. So he was married, and he ended up divorcing his wife, and they married each other eventually, but they used to actually have sex with each other to participate inside of the research themselves. So they knew exactly what was going on. Okay. I know that's weird, right? Divorced his whole life for her. So they had this thing called the Masters and Johnson's model. This is called the human. They called it the human sexual response cycle, and they basically, yeah, you gotta hold it. They came up with 4 stages to it about what happens when you have sex. So, because I know, like, you might have a question like, what happens? Like, your body goes through changes, okay? So each stage, a girl has her experiment and a guy has his experiment. But the overall outcome is basically trying to get to a pleasure moment. Make you feel good, okay? So in the first stage, which they call the excitement stage, this is the early stages, is when you're excited. So a woman, she may have a feeling of fullness, or she feels excited. Her breasts, or her boobs as you call them, they get a little hard. And in the guy, you become aroused, meaning your penis stands erect. You know? You know what I mean? Okay. You need a visual? No. Okay. So, in the second stage, it's called the plateau stage. And if it's done right, it keeps feeling good. And it's just building up. That's all it's doing. So everything the girl is experiencing and everything the guy is experiencing, it's just increasing. So now your heart rate is increasing, your blood pressure is increasing, your excitement is increasing. Okay. Fix your face. I know it's weird, right? Okay. So, in this stage, it's called the orgasm stage. That's what they call this stage. This stage is the stimulation which leads to contractions in a woman. So her vagina starts doing this, okay? And for a guy, this is when you release the sperm. They literally call it the release of sperm. That means you have successfully done something right and your sperm is on its way out. But you gonna always use a condom because we don't want to have no babies. It's called safe sex. And isn't that right?
Yeah.
Okay. You sure you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Don't be popping up no babies. And then in this stage, it's called the resolution stage. It basically means you're going back to your regular state. So you did all of this, and now it's time to rest. So that means your heart rate's going down. That means her heart rate's going down. That means her body and her muscles aren't contracting. That means your penis isn't standing up right no more. It's going back down. That's what the resolution stage means.
Okay.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I know you got at least one question. Ask me something. Don't be embarrassed. Sex is a good thing.
I don't have no questions.
You don't have no questions?
Nope.
You better think of one.
Yeah.
Anything?
Nope.
All right. So tell me something you learned.
You gotta be careful when you have sex.
Amen. Because you're going to use a what?
Like all of them.
Amen. And when you going to have sex?
When I get married.
Amen. You learned it. All right. Thank you for being my guinea pig. I love you.
Like,